So some pretty huge news coming from the creator of One Piece. In a recent interview, he dropped the bombshell that a lot of people are kind of skeptical with. A lot of people are kind of just like, whoa, didn't see that coming, as far as the future of One Piece and how much longer we have. Now, throughout the years, they have played with us, I ain't gonna lie. I believe it was at the halfway point, they said it's like 50% done. Around 2010, that's when they said the series is halfway done. And then throughout the years, as it's progressed, they said, I think in 2012, like we're 60%, like 2014, 2015, they said 65%. Now, the creator of One Piece has said in an interview that we are roughly 80% done with One Piece, and that just immediately, I'm like, whoa, 80% done? What? How? When? And it's kind of getting me a little bit, not necessarily worried, but at the same time, I've heard certain things of Oda saying that he would stop writing One Piece if he didn't enjoy it anymore. He would never allow Shueisha to push him to keep on making more. He does it because he loves it, etc., etc. So I don't want to necessarily say that I'm scared that they're going to rush him, especially the fact that One Piece for Shueisha, for Shonen Jump, for manga in general, is a humongous cash cow in Japan. It just is. Like, you know, story aside of how rich it is and how much incredible plot and all of that good stuff, it makes them tons of money. Every One Piece volume sells within the millions. One Piece is always the #1 selling manga every single year. Some series have come close. Attack on Titan at its peak almost did it. Likewise with Seven Deadly Sins. But nothing can touch One Piece. So as far as like Shueisha rushing him, I highly doubt it. I mean, they have made some questionable decisions in the past of rushing certain series that do well, but none of those series were on the scale of what One Piece does. One Piece, with like 1 or 2 volumes, outsells a good chunk of series that are in Jump in general, and manga in general. It's just that big of a deal. So the fact that we're 80%, it does make me wonder, well, you know, I guess for starters, we got to say that these numbers are kind of not necessarily random, but they're not to be taken so literal. Like, okay, let's do the math, and if 80% is at this point and we've done this amount, it's not really the case, just because again they played around so many times of, well, we're halfway done, we're 60% done, 2 or 3 years passed, we're 65%. So it doesn't necessarily make sense when you do the math, you know, in a literal sense. But still, 80% done, that means that Oda feels like we're getting close at the very least. So for the people that think, yo, One Piece is going on another 15 years, nah, I don't see that happening at all. I even said when we met Sama, which I won't get into the spoilers of that for people that haven't read these latest, you know, 10 chapters or so, but when we got to that chapter in particular, I was like, One Piece feels like it's not going to go as long as a lot of people think. A lot of people think One Piece is going to go on forever. We're going to have One Piece when we're old, and nah. I've even felt that One Piece, pacing-wise, has picked up a lot. I don't want to say dramatically, but definitely One Piece has been going a lot faster. I mean, with the Reverie arc alone, we got just an enormous amount of information in a very quick and timely manner. When One Piece, normally, it does everything smooth, and it did it smooth. I ain't gonna lie. I wasn't feeling rushed or anything like that, but One Piece usually get big reveals every so often, and One Piece lately has given us reveal after reveal after reveal after reveal, which again kind of makes it think like, okay, you know, things is progressing very quickly. But when you start to sit back and you hear 80%, you're like, okay, well, what do we have left to explore in One Piece that is going to be able to fill up that 20% time? It does feel like there's a lot still to go. Like, despite the fact that we've had big reveals or whatever, there's still plenty of stuff to do. Let's start off with Wano, which is supposed to be like one of the longest arcs. We just started with Wano, so let's just say Wano is going to be 3 years alone, and that's just probably ballparking it. It could be a little bit more. We know it's more than likely going to be longer than Dressrosa, which Dressrosa was very freaking long. So if it's longer than Dressrosa, whatever, Wano, give it about like 3 years more or less, right? So that's 3 years alone on one arc, not to mention the plethora of other things that still have to get explored, on top of the fact that once all is said and done, Luffy has said, let's go back around and meet a lot of the people that we met in the beginning of this journey and, you know, hang out with them or whatever. So that aside, we have Wano. Don't forget that we still haven't even went to Elbaf yet, and Elbaf has been something that has been built up for a while. I mean, even with the Big Mom arc, it got even more into the whole, you know, history of Elbaf and the giants and everything. But Elbaf has been foreshadowed since ages ago, damn near in the beginning of the series when those two giants were stuck. I can't remember their name, but they were stuck on the island fighting each other for so freaking long. We're gonna go to Elbaf. I don't know how long Elbaf is gonna be, considering the fact that what can they really do with Elbaf in terms of like, has Elbaf changed a lot? Because in the past, we've seen that Elbaf was a pretty peaceful place for the most part. It was Big Mom that really sent it into chaos and everything that she did, but I don't see Elbaf having like the structure of a lot of these arcs, like Wano, where it's all, you know, Kaido is manipulating everything, or Dressrosa with Doflamingo was manipulating everything, or, you know, even going back to Alabasta, Crocodile manipulating everything. Elbaf, unless there's somebody that's manipulating the entire giants or whatever, which it can't be Big Mom. Big Mom is so desperate to rekindle whatever with them, or if she can't, then just screw them. I want to recreate what was there. So Elbaf might not be the longest arc, but that's still one of plenty more. We still have to, I mean, for crying out loud, one of the end goals, Raftel, you know, that's going to be a big deal. Luffy becoming the Pirate King, the big gigantic war that is going to be like humongous, where Luffy has his army or whatever. Like, you know, there's still humongous things which are going to last a decent amount of time. I don't know how long that war will last, but if there's going to be that amount of people, the Tontatas, you know, all of Luffy's crew, and then whoever else with the world government, you can imagine that that's going to be a pretty long arc. Probably not the longest, because, you know, even Marineford wasn't the longest arc in the world or whatever. It wasn't that long. So Oda might not make it a dragged out arc, but even between all of that, for crying out loud, just recently we got some foreshadowing of Big Mom and Kaido, certain things that might happen with them two. So if you have that as well waiting in the wings, and we still don't know the history, you know, the blank history, the void century that was, you know, still covered up to this day. We still have Aim Sama, the elders, you know, the Gorosei. We still got the Blackbeard pirates that have to be dealt with. You know, the Blackbeard pirates, that's one of the end goal things. So that's probably towards the end. We don't know exactly what Blackbeard is trying to do, other than he just seems like a classic pirate opposed to like all of these pirates or whatever. But we still even have the Blackbeard pirates. We got the Revolutionary Army that they still have to figure out exactly what they're going to do. We know that they're pretty much igniting a war at this point, but we still have even the Revolutionary Army waiting in the wings to see what's going to happen with them. And if you add all of that up, I mean, alone Wano, unless you handle a decent amount of these things, which some of it will probably be handled while Wano is going on, because in the Reverie, we have Sabo and some of the Revolutionary Army already getting ready to start some stuff there. So maybe, possibly, while we're in Wano and the Reverie is going on at the same time, some of the stuff, again, like the Revolutionary Army, whether they're going to get wiped out, whether they're going to, you know, whatever's going to happen with them, could be addressed at the same time. And maybe that's why Oda's doing it, because Wano's going to be so long. Hey, let's cut back and forth. We're not sure, but more than likely, he's going to cut back and forth between that, the Reverie, and whatever else. Then, of course, the Shichibukai system. Fujitora wants to knock that down. We still don't even know really too much about Vegapunk. We know a lot about Vegapunk, but we don't even know what the hell he looks like. You know what I'm saying? So that's something very big as well that needs to be explored. And of course, still some of the Straw Hats, they need to achieve their goals. Sanji finding all blue. You know, Zoro still trying to collect the cursed swords. There's still so much. Brook being reunited with Laboon. And when I say all this stuff, it starts to make me think, like, if we're 80% done and 20%, are we going to be able to address all of these things? Kind of makes me a little bit nervous. I still think that the numbers are vague to a certain degree, the percentages, because it's like, it hops around too much, and I've seen it with other series as well. It's kind of like an estimation, and I think a lot of the times the authors say it without realizing, like, yo, there's a lot of work to be done, and maybe sometimes they even hype it, because sometimes even it's not Oda himself, it's editors that come out and say things, so who knows exactly. I'm curious about what you guys think about this. One Piece, 80% done. Do you think in that 20%, assuming that this is a close, accurate percentage for how much we have left, we can address all of these things? Wano, the Shichibukai, you know, Elbaf, Raftel, the final war, Luffy becoming Pirate King, the Straw Hats goals being achieved. Shit, we still got to see what's going on with Zoro and Tashigi. That's another big thing. What's going to happen with Law? Like, just the more I talk, the more I realize I don't think that's 20% of material. That feels like a lot more, considering Wano is hyping up to be one of the longest arcs, and there's still so much more to go after that. Your overall thoughts of this is kind of not necessarily worrisome, because I do think that Shueisha, especially the money that One Piece makes, it's not like they're gonna rush Oda. Hopefully it's not Oda that is like, bro, I just want to get through a lot of these things, and he starts rushing, because that would be a travesty. One Piece has been one of the most, not necessarily best paced, because it has been slow at times, but as far as like not rushing stuff, One Piece has been great at not rushing things. And if it starts to rush after a certain point, that'd be a travesty, especially as like, we got so much to do. There's still so much left to be said and done. Your overall thoughts of this? One Piece, 80% done. Freaking crazy. Like, Oda, you got your work cut out. Those are some big words. That's a tall order. Can you fulfill it? That's all I have for this one, though. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, stalk my Facebook, follow me on Twitch, and make sure to hit the bell to get all notifications, all the videos, baby. I'm ForneverWorld, and as always, people, have an awesome day. And remember the golden rule: anime and manga for life, boy. Bow. Have an awesome day. Woo, this is gonna be a hefty 20%.
We make a major move, laugh and let the haters lose. We don't give a fuck, virginity intact, clean stack. Paper rules, if you heard it, best believe that. But now it's whatever, one day I'll be your favorite, but never. No matter how you